and together we'll take back London.
Another year has passed and we're here again with yet another Assassin's Creed game from Ubisoft, and I'm back again to review it. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the 9th game in the series, had the difficult task of following up on what was undoubtedly the weakest Assassin's Creed game in the franchise. A fan of the series and having played all of the previous installments, I was bitterly disappointed with Unity and a bit burnt out, to be honest. I honestly felt that Assassin's Creed had had its time and that the pressures of a yearly release cycle had drained the life and spark out of what was once Ubisoft's flagship title. So when Assassin's Creed Syndicate came out, for the first time I decided not to buy the game and to wait to see what the response would be. Encouraged by the favourable reactions to the game, I decided to take a risk and buy it. So the question on your mind, I'm sure, is Assassin's Creed Syndicate worth buying? Have Ubisoft redeemed themselves, or is Syndicate just another Unity, albeit set in a different city and time? Happily, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a return to form for Ubisoft. While Unity took some definite risks focusing more on the multiplayer element of the game through 2 to 4 player co-op, the developers of Syndicate have decided to veer away from this, instead focusing on the open world setting of Victorian London and the story of twin assassins Jacob and Evie Fry. Though it would have been a great opportunity for 2-player cooperative play, still, the decision to focus more on the story and characters is a decision well made. When compared to Unity, the City of London is more vibrant and full of life. Victorian London is massive and recreated beautifully. The characters of Jacob and Evie Fry are much more likeable than previous installments. Although I did find Evie far more likeable than her twin brother, still I enjoyed the banter between them immensely, and this is the first time in an Assassin's Creed game that we have had 2 main protagonists, and while not the first female assassin to grace the Assassin's Creed franchise, it's the first one that has played such a prominent role in the main series. If Ezio is my favourite assassin, then Evie would have to be my second favourite. While there are set missions for each of the twins, for the majority of the game you can freely choose between them. Like previous Assassin's Creed games, Syndicate is chock full of historical cameos, including Charles Darwin, Karl Marx, Charles Dickens, Alexander Graham Bell, and Queen Victoria, to name but a few. It's great to see them brought to life here, and some of the highlights of the game are their individual side missions, each of which are unique, interesting, and a lot of fun to play. The parkour gameplay that we love and come to expect in an AC game is back, and thankfully bug-free and more seamless than its predecessor. Evie and Jacob can climb and descend freely with the flick of the right stick up or down, and the annoying difficulty in entering and exiting windows that we had in Unity is removed, finally, with the inclusion of a mapped button for this. Victorian London is 30% larger than Unity's Paris, and the inclusion of 2 new gameplay mechanics makes the navigation of the city fun and easy. The introduction of ziplining really helps when travelling from rooftop to rooftop speedily, and can prove a lifesaver when in stealth situations, although it leaves you feeling more like Batman than an assassin when you swoop down to assassinate a target from above and then grapple to the rooftop in an instant unseen. In fact, it makes stealth so much easier and quicker that it takes some of the challenge away. On the ground, you can also navigate the city freely by hijacking carriages and driving around the streets of London in a very GTA style, running over passers-by and engaging in exciting carriage chases. Both new additions are a lot of fun and add a lot of character to Syndicate that singles it out from its counterparts. The combat in Syndicate 2 is an improvement and easy to use. Both Evie and Jacob have some wicked finishing moves, although the animations for them do sometimes feel too long and drawn out. I would say that the combat feels closer to the Arkham games than previous Assassin's Creed games, with its familiar counter prompts and finishing moves. So for those of you that enjoy the combat in Rocksteady's Batman series, then you will no doubt enjoy this immensely. For me, however, I felt it was a shame that the developers at Ubisoft have chosen to model their combat so closely on the Batman games. I would have preferred to see something new and unique that focused more on the different weapons and styles that an assassin has, and both the options for lethal and non-lethal takedowns, rather like the combat in Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood. Another improvement is the increased focus on stealth. A worrying trend in the previous games was the move towards more linear, action-orientated levels and storylines. While of course there are some exciting action-packed moments in Syndicate, it feels like Assassin's Creed has gone back to its roots, with more focus on assassination targets and stealth. The ability to go in and out of stealth freely and the more intuitive cover system found in Unity have been included. One of my favourite parts of Unity were the special assassination missions, and I'm happy to say that they are back. Each assassination mission is a huge sandbox level with multiple entries, unique opportunities and ways of assassinating your target. I enjoyed them a lot, and they provide a good opportunity for replay and challenge. So all in all, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a move in the right direction for Ubisoft and might have put some much needed life back into the franchise. But sadly, it is not without its flaws, and there are still some glaring problems with the series that remain. Firstly, the more forceful microtransactions blatantly used in Syndicate are an insult to the community and show a complete lack of integrity for Ubisoft and a greedy money-making scheme by having gamers spend their hard-earned cash just to unlock content that is already in the game, but unlock it at an earlier stage. And yes, you could argue that we were given free DLC content, including missions, armor and weapons, but this still doesn't excuse the use of microtransactions in this way. Secondly, while the gameplay is much improved, sadly the story is still lacking and rushed. Many of the side missions and main story missions are repetitive and lack imagination or thought. The characters of Evie and Jacob are more interesting than the likes of Arno and Connor, but there is still a lack of character development and the story is superficial at best. The main villain is cliched and one-dimensional, and at no time feels like a true threat to the twins. In fact, the final boss fight is so disappointing and lackluster, it leaves the ending feeling extremely anticlimactic, and there is no resolution to the real-world sci-fi storyline revolving around Abstergo Industries, which is blatantly ignored here. So overall, I would give Assassin's Creed Syndicate an 8 out of 10. In many ways, it is a much better game than Unity, but it is still a flawed game lacking in crucial key areas. The problem that remains for the series, I think, is the yearly cycle enforced on the developers by Ubisoft. This provides little time for the initial stages of the creative process or time for quality control and checks. I honestly feel that the developers at Ubisoft don't really know where to take the series and are treading water. It is perhaps a good sign then that Ubisoft have decided to stop the yearly release cycle and that there will be no Assassin's Creed game in 2016 or 2017. This might provide a much needed break for the series and an opportunity for the developers to think hard about where they want the series to go. So have you played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and what did you think of it? Please pop your comments in the section below. Alright guys and girls, well take care, and as always, happy gaming!
For my brother.
For my sister.
For London.
For family.